ceremony of the International Space University Space Studies Program. I am Omar Hatamli, the Program Director and your Master of Ceremonies tonight. Tonight, we have the great honor and pleasure to have amongst the guests King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands. His Majesty has had a long-time interest in space and has visited ESA ESTEC several times. This year, we celebrate the 31st anniversary of SSP. Since its inception, the program has added more than 4,400 alumni. The Netherlands Space Office, in collaboration with 3 leading Dutch space organizations, the Delft University of Technology, Leiden University, and ESA ESTEC, presented ISU with an excellent proposal to host SSP. Combined, these institutes presented the best in European space research, engineering, technology, operations, and policy. Our opening ceremony in ESTEC today is the culmination of months and years of work by people from all around the world. It's appropriate that we meet under the beautiful model of the International Space Station, the outstanding symbol of international cooperation of recent decades. For all of us, we have worked together to prepare the program. It has been an exciting challenge, but the real stars of the show are the participants who join us from every corner of the world for the next 9 weeks. These talented people will be asked to push themselves beyond their old limits and discover new abilities as they work together. This summer, all of us in ISU will become part of the great space community here in the Netherlands. We hope to share our enthusiasm and expertise with the host cities and beyond. I'd like now to introduce, with great pride, the class of SSP 2018. In true ISU tradition, the SSP participants will enter behind the flag of their country. Your Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Argentina. Australia. Austria. Bulgaria. Canada. China. Colombia. Costa Rica. Denmark. France. Germany, Greece, India, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Lithuania, Luxembourg, and for the first time, Mongolia, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Lanka. Sweden. Our host country, the Netherlands. Turkey. United Kingdom. And the United States of America. I would like to invite Your Majesty to come to the stage for a photo with the country representatives. Okay, may I thank Your Majesty and invite you to take a seat, please. Please join me in welcoming the International Space University Space Studies Program class of 2018. The Space Studies program is your space mission for this summer. Like a mission crew going to orbit, you will need to work hard together and appreciate individual skills everyone brings. You will face a new environment with exciting new opportunities. By the end of this journey, I hope you will have discovered new things about space and about yourselves. And I hope, like so many of our alumni, that you will find your lives have changed for the better. To begin, may I ask you to give a warm welcome to tonight's host of these premises, the Director General of European Space Agency, Professor Jan Warner.
His Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great pleasure for me and honor to welcome all of you here, especially, of course, His Majesty. ESA, this is the premises of ESA. We are trying to look to what is called the global challenges. All of you might have your very special list of what is the most important challenge of the future. But one is clear, there is one additional thing, you can call it a challenge, you can call it a driver, And this is even more and stronger than all the other ones. This is curiosity of humans. And therefore, we believe that not only space is covering all of these global challenges, but especially also curiosity, because curiosity is something which we need for the future. Curiosity is something which we need in space. And therefore, space is providing information, communication, science, technology, education, and inspiration. Now, there are also what is called the so-called Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 officially. Personally, I added one more because of the current discussions, but I think it's very clear there are 17. And now you can ask, where the hell is space? And I can tell you, in each and every one, we can provide assistance, we can help to overcome problems, to reach these Sustainable Development Goals. ESA is doing these things: Earth observation, navigation, telecommunication, space science and exploration, building new launchers, operations, technology development, but also we are taking care of safety and security. And this all we try to unite also in Europe. Of course, we are a European Space Agency, therefore United Space in Europe, maybe a step towards United States of Europe, but at least United Space in Europe, and United Europe in Space. And of course, Her Majesty, if you look, His Majesty, there is a little bit of clouds above the UK, but we know we will tackle that issue also in the future. We will have a solution for this, His Majesty. So, this is something now here we are at the ISU, and that means we are talking about global cooperation, about global activities. And here you see just a few of those which are covered by the students of the ISU recently. That means exploration, climate change, safety and security, and space law. Exploration, this is a big thing. And instead, I'm just a civil engineer, so I quote a philosopher who said, "We will not cease from exploration until we come back to where we came from and see the place for the first time." I don't understand this quote, but I think it's very nice, and therefore I'm using it. Space exploration, and we have here André Kuipers, who until today believed he was a Dutch astronaut. He is not. From our understanding, he is a European astronaut with a Dutch accent. And so this was his first flight, and you see what exploration can do. The other ones are from Russia and from the United States. And he flew again, and again, him, a little bit less hair, and then we have a Russian and an American. So this is part of what we think what space can do. We are bridging earthly crises, we are bridging earthly borders, and space can really do that. And what we can do is, of course, the space station. There we have from different countries, we have the astronauts, the cosmonauts, which is a good place to go. But this is not all. We will go further. And the next place to go is, of course, the moon. We don't go back to the moon. We go forward to the moon, because it's a new endeavor not to go there in race in space between two superpowers as in the 60s of last century. Next time we go to the moon, we go there together for humankind, robotic and astronauts, and we do a lot of things which we can do on this moon. I will not list all of them, but it's clear if you define a place and you go there to do something together, then you can call that a village, and therefore we call it the Moon Village. And this is what we are going to do. We will be active together on the moon. Now, the next aspect is climate change. And it's clear climate change is really an issue. And we know that more than 50% of the so-called essential climate variables can be observed only from space. And therefore, now space is an infrastructure for the politicians to decide the next step. For instance, also to look for the concentration of NOx. So this is a distribution of air pollution in Europe. We are looking right now for the next one, where we would like to look also for CO2, which so far we cannot do with these satellites. But again, what is very important, it must be a global cooperation, because if you just do this on a national or a continental approach, the others will not accept your data, of course. But if we do this in a global cooperation, data exchange and global comparison, then we can do something also for the future of our Earth. And therefore, as I said, space is now infrastructure. Space is infrastructure like bridges, like railways, and an infrastructure, as a normal infrastructure, has to be contained a lot of things. So we have to install it, it needs continuity, it needs maintenance, upgrade, protection, development, adaptation, and extension. And for us in space, especially the point of protection is of certain interest, because maybe one or the other knows the movie Gravity. There were at least 2 actors. I saw only Sandra Bullock, but I heard that there was also another one, and who is selling then espresso and so on. So this was science fiction, an accident with space debris and the International Space Station. But I can tell you, it is not any longer just science fiction, it is science facts, because we have around the Earth more than 750,000 particles of a size of 1 centimeter or bigger, and we have about 3,000 satellites around the Earth which are not in use. So space debris is a very important thing, and we have to work on it, because already, meaning we need a vacuum cleaner, already what we had is we had an impact on one of our satellites. This was in April 2014. The satellite was in very good shape, the solar panels. And then in August 2016, you see here a small impact of space debris hitting this spacecraft. So we have to have debris removal. And I'm very happy that also ISU students are discussing and working on this matter. And what we also need is sometimes we have accidents like on Earth. In this case, 2 satellites hit each other and, of course, producing debris. So what we need is also space traffic management for the future. And all of this has to be covered by clear space law in orbit, but also when we go to other bodies like the Moon or Mars. So if you look to this and to ISU, where is the connection? Very simple. If you consider the knowledge in your specific field, whether it's medicine or whether it's biology or philosophy or engineering, and just think about that all the knowledge you have could be drawn in a picture, then this green place should be the accumulated knowledge around the world. Now within this accumulated knowledge, part of it is considered in norms. The practical engineer is using the norms, going a little bit farther than that. But what we need for the future is people who are ready and who are educated to go beyond norms, practice, but even beyond knowledge. And this means we need curious peoples. And this is what ISU is about. And therefore, what we believe is really that people like André Kuipers can inspire also young people. So inspiration is a very important thing. If you are fascinated by something like an astronaut, and then you are inspired, there is somebody who made his dream real, then you get to a motivation and maybe you're working for a better world. And we do this through observation, through education, and then really activities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Werner. An undertaking of the scope of SSP would be impossible without the coordinated effort of many generous organizations and dedicated individuals. I'd like to thank the many organizations who are making SSP18 possible. First, thank you to our host, the Netherlands Space Office, NSO, in collaboration with 3 leading Dutch space organizations, from which ISU has received the warmest of welcomes. Delft University of Technology, Leiden University, and ESA for hosting us today. I'd also like to thank the cities of Delft, Leiden, Noordwijk, and The Hague, together with the region of Holland, Rijnland, and the province of Zuid-Holland. I'd also like to thank our partners. Thank you to the SSP18 Program Alliance partner, Airbus. And thank you also to the distinguished partner, Ariane Group, together with all the program supporters, which we can find on the left. Finally, I would like to welcome representatives from the embassies of Denmark, Nigeria, and Romania. I'm pleased to introduce now Mr. Jaap Smit. Mr. Smit is the King's Commissioner in the province of Zuid-Holland. Please help me welcome Mr. Jaap Smit.
Your Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, the reason I'm here as one of your commissioners, Your Majesty, is to underline the importance my province, Zuid-Holland, wants to give on this place, this ESA ESTEC. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Netherlands, the country that is famous not only for its windmills and tulips, but also for its flourishing space sector. Today you are welcomed at the site of ESA ESTEC, the leading European space research and technology center based here in Noordwijk in the province of Zuid-Holland. And as King's Commissioner in this province, I am very proud that this year's edition of the ISU Space Studies program is hosted by the Netherlands. For you as students, it is going to be a very interesting summer. Many of you just arrived yesterday. Your journey of discovery in this country has only just begun. And already on this first day, you got the opportunity to meet our King Willem-Alexander. Your Majesty, please allow me to state that your attendance today is an expression of your and our commitment as Dutch people to this important space sector. The Dutch space sector is mostly concentrated in this province, the province of Zuid-Holland. And as King's Commissioner, I'm very proud that it's here in my province. Recently, we celebrated the 50th anniversary in this place. And you know that around 2,800, almost 3,000 people, they are employed here. And around ESA ESTEC, there are positive vibes in the air. Some people think space is a hobby, but it's a source of innovation, a source of exploration, a source of new things. It's all about exploration and cooperation and innovation. Innovative companies are establishing facilities in this area. The Leiden University and Delft University of Technology are closely involved, sharing the knowledge and capacities. And one of the big space factories, Airbus, is building a new plant here. Combined with ESA ESTEC, these companies and institutes represent the best in European space research, in space engineering, technology, operations and policy. A very worthwhile space cluster is growing here in this area. And I'm glad to say that our national government recognizes this potential and is freeing up money for further developments. And I hope that our national government will go on supporting the space sector for many years to come, both politically and financially. But back to the Space Studies program. The program will bring you as students to Delft, The Hague, Leiden, Noordwijk, and many of the companies that are involved in the space cluster. And in addition to the Space Studies program, special public events are organized, appealingly titled Sizzling Summer of Space. For example, there is the annual ISU astronaut panel in which astronauts talk about their experience during space missions. Furthermore, there are a robot lander competition, film festivals, and a panel meeting for space companies. I'm convinced that these events are also very interesting for you as participants in the Space Studies program. I'm happy to see that so many young people from different countries around the world gather here. At a time when the importance of international cooperation is under pressure, it's even more crucial to look beyond borders. You have come to the Netherlands to acquire and exchange knowledge about space technology. In addition, the coming months offer plenty of opportunities to get to know each other and to immerse yourself in other cultures. These experiences could make you a richer person. And this summer, you can create a network for life. I like to wish all students who follow the Space Studies program a lot of fun and success. You will be focusing on one of the most important sectors of the future. Maybe I would have made the same choice if I were younger. But I'm convinced that the space sector is not only fascinating, but also very promising. Some say that of all sciences that are inspiring young people, space is paramount. Maybe that's true. Anyhow, I always say here, the sky is not the limit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. I would like now to welcome our next speaker, Dr. André Kuipers. Dr. Kuipers is a Dutch physician and an ESA astronaut. He launched on a Soyuz in 2004 and is the first Dutch astronaut to return to space. In 2011, he left the Earth again for a stay of 193 days in space, the longest European space flight ever. Dr. Kuipers is also an ambassador of good causes. He promotes science and technology among young people as ambassador of technology pacts and draws attention to the Dutch sector through the Netherlands Space Office. Please help me welcome Dr. Andy Kuipers.
Thank you. First of all, I have to correct something. My European space record was broken by my Italian colleague, so I have to go back to break the record again. Space exploration. And will not be surprised that I will repeat several things because the Director General and me are from the same space agency, because I will also start with space exploration. Of course, the moon. It's been too long that people have been on the moon, 1972. So it's time to go back there again. And we go back. Europe, United States, solar panels from the Netherlands. So we get a space station around the moon, and we heard already a beautiful moon village. That's space exploration. And on the planet, we have a lot of countries, this beautiful planet of ours, that participate in spaceflight. A lot of countries working together. Very important, because like the Netherlands, small country, you can do apart, but as a group, you can do much more. So, European Space Agency. With here, of course, a very, very interesting place. The biggest technological center of the European Space Agency, and a lot of things happening here, of course. Of course, we probe further into space. Beautiful spacecraft going into the solar system, Bepi Colombo here, and recently, of course, the Rosetta mission, fantastic. But we also look down. Of course, the Earth observation satellites. Everybody uses space nowadays. If you look at the satellites, well, you think, well, not my business. This is satellites we all use, navigation satellites. Everybody uses spaceflight every day. If you navigate in your car, you can follow all the shipping routes on the planet, precision navigation in agriculture. That's one form of satellites we every day use. And of course, nowadays we have our beautiful Galileo system. So a lot of different things that we do already with one form of satellites. But also, if you look at the weather forecast, you use spaceflight. We can save human lives because of these weather satellites to predict where hurricanes are going. And then the third form, communication satellites. The people in the cars have difficulty finding the right one. They have a lot of communication satellites nowadays. Three forms that we daily use. And then maybe the most important form of spaceflight, the Earth observation satellites. Climate, we heard already, Earth is warming up, ice is melting. You need to prove that. So we have satellites measuring the thickness of the ice. And then it's a full planet. This planet grows with 200,000 people every day, 200,000 people extra. They all want energy, they all want sweet water, and they all want food. So, going back to the planets, there's more desertification on one side, and there's more severe weather on the other side. So, spaceflight is a very good tool to look at that, because it's used by disaster relief agencies to see where flooding is going, to send you help. It's also used in the agricultural sector, of course. You can look at your crops in different wavelengths. This is a project that the Netherlands is doing together with Vietnam for food security, where you best start your rice fields, for example, important way. Deforestation, here we see how the forest in Borneo is disappearing because of palm oil plantation. With satellites, you can measure it all the time over long periods. This one we saw, air pollution, and recently we sent up a very beautiful piece of equipment, Tropomi, which can measure all these different aspects, all these different ingredients of air pollution over the planet, and very detailed. So, went up on a beautiful satellite, one of the Copernicus group, the Sentinels, and with that we watch our planet every day in all kinds of ways. Even in radar, with radar, you can see changes in movements on millimeter level. Very important for this country, of which half of the country is underwater, on the sea level. Here you can see how some red dots on the dikes, where you can see if you can do something. So overall, for the safety from a country, we can use spaceflight. It all goes down, in this case to Frascati, data center. Everybody on the planet uses this kind of information for the well-being of the whole planet. Of course, we also have the fifth form of satellites, looking out, the space telescopes, and you can start the whole lecture on that one, of course. We saw this already, satellites in danger, accidents happen. So I'm very pleased indeed also that the topic of space debris is on the list here, because satellites are getting smaller and smaller, so it's a serious issue with all the satellites we're going to send up soon in the future. And then, of course, my own field, human spaceflight. This is the sixth form of satellites orbiting the planet. Big solar panels, as big as a soccer field, 1,000 cubic meters content, big project. It's a beautiful example of international cooperation. This is the biggest technological project built by all kinds of countries that were fighting each other not so long in hot and cold wars, and now working together to build the biggest project. I think this is a very good candidate for a Nobel Peace Prize. Go to space, not to war. Very good to do it this way. So the space station orbiting our planet, 400 kilometers altitude, 28,000 kilometers per hour. It's the speed that makes it difficult to get there and to get back. And then, of course, on board, well, fantastic to see all the technology built by all these different people. Here a time lapse to show the beautiful solar panels, radiators, batteries, cameras, experiments, robotic arms. It's a fantastic place, and of course there, all the astronauts do their scientific work in all the different fields. It's experiments for space itself. How do you cool a satellite? Which materials to use against radiation? But also very fundamental. Crystal growth, material sciences. And of course, very basic. This is an experiment we mimic the whole Earth to improve computer models, maybe to predict earthquakes in the future. Very basic, fundamental experiments, but also industrial. So also industry is interested to use the weightless environment for the research. Now, operational tasks, beginning of new eras. For example, the docking of commercial spacecraft. And that's a very nice example. Neo Busy, as you heard, the Dutch astronaut of a European Space Agency, working with the Canadian robotic arm to bring an American commercial spacecraft to an international space station. Beautiful example how technologies and countries come together. And then, of course, you don't do this alone. We have contact all the time. You hear people talking with Japan, with Russia, with the United States, with Europe, all these different flight control centers that we have all over the world, working together 24/7 to make sure that the space station stays in good shape and that everything is done. Because astronauts are just standing on the shoulders of giants. All these people making this all happen. You heard already 3,000 people here at ESTIC, at all these places in the world. People make new plans, people build things, people check things, verify things. They train the astronauts, and they control everything from the ground. Astronauts are on the shoulders of giants, and a lot of the people are now here. The future giants of space coming here to the Netherlands. We are over here now, and a fantastic summer coming up. With these pictures, you have to be lucky because it's a small country, so you go 8 kilometers per second, and if you're too late, you see Denmark and Sweden and Norway. But sometimes you have the chance to take a picture of this place. At night, here in the Netherlands, I'm sorry, Your Majesty, the orange that you see is not the Netherlands. That's the highways of Belgium. So if you see orange from space, it's not the Netherlands. The Netherlands are over here, and we are momentarily over there. So, to zoom in on this place, I think it's fantastic that we have this sizzling summer of space over here with all these bright people who make this planet a better place for the future. Clean up space and keep a clean Earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kuipers. I would like now to introduce two groups of artists. First, Holland in a nutshell. They will demonstrate some of the traditional kluggage with traditional Dutch music. The second group, the Dance and the Ballet School, Jory and Boot, will be performing some space dance to space music.
Right.
Exploring space gives us significance. It makes us part of a cosmic cycle, takes us beyond our own life. Beyond our own life. in space might answer our most fundamental questions. Why are we here? Are we alone?
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control to Major Tom. 7. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2, check ignition, and may God's love be with you.
Thank you. I am pleased to introduce our next speaker for today, Dr. Christian Salleberger. Dr. Salleberger is the chairman of the Board of Trustees for the International Space University and a member of the 1988 inaugural class. While working at the Canadian Space Agency, Dr. Salleberger initiated the Canadian government planetary exploration program and subsequently spent 15 years as vice president and director of space exploration at MDA. He is currently president and CEO of Canadensis Aerospace Corporation, a Canadian space systems company working for both domestic government customers and international commercial ones. Please help me welcome Dr. Christian Salleberger.
Thank you, Omar, for that kind introduction. Dear guests here, Your Majesty, SSP participants, faculty and staff, dear hosts from Delft, from Leiden, from Noordwijk, from the Netherlands, dear alumni, dear family and friends of ISU. So here we are in the Netherlands for the start of what promises to be a fantastic SSP. It's great to be here. As you might know, we have many active ISU alumni in the Netherlands, a country which is known to be a hotbed of innovation in the space sector. This SSP is also special because of the close links to ESTEC, where we are here, the main research center of the European Space Agency. From the very early years, ESA has been a consistent anchor sponsor of ISU, and it's a privilege for us at ISU to have this SSP here. A heartfelt thanks to all our hosts. We are very appreciative. Thank you also to all our staff at ISU, both those here with us today and those who have been supporting remotely for many months from ISU's offices in Strasbourg. A lot of hard work has gone into preparing the summer. Thank you. And while I'm saying thanks, I'd also like to call out two individuals who are with us here tonight. The first is Tanya Mason-Swan, famous space lawyer. But some years ago, there was a group of senior space people here in the Netherlands that were meeting to come up with some ideas of how the space expertise of the Netherlands could be showcased to the world. And Tanya suggested, why don't we put in a bid to host an ISU session here in the Netherlands? A brilliant idea, and because of that spark, here we are today. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Also, the other individual I'd like to briefly mention is Michael Potter. In addition to his many great achievements in the space world, Michael has also personally arranged the financial support for dozens of ISU SSP students, including some here with us tonight. And because of this, has had a tremendous impact also in the space world. So thank you, Michael. Of course, there are many other countless individuals I could have called out who have done great things, but I give those two examples to show how individuals can change the world, can create significant change in the world. And we sometimes forget that in our complicated world. But I call on you, those that are embarking on this SSP program now, to take all the great things you're going to learn here in the SSP and use it to create some positive change in the world. Individuals can do fantastic things. And so now let me address the SSP class of 2018. Congratulations on being here. The selection and admission process at ISU is very stringent, and the fact that you're here is a reason enough to say congratulations. So fantastic job. You're probably eager and excited for the summer to begin. I know the feeling. As Omar said, 30 years ago, I was in your shoes in that first ISU class, and you have great things in store for you this summer. I can assure you, you're about to embark on an incredible journey, learning about space from all aspects, from the technical aspects to the business aspects, policy aspects, even societal ones, but also learning about space's role in the global world today, as well as learning about each other. And it's this last point that I want to emphasize with you. Your fellow participants, 134 fellow participants, a class of 135, come from 36 countries around the globe. And like you, they've been selected also because of their past academic achievements, their interest and commitment to space activities, and importantly also, their potential for leadership in the global space community. You'll be spending a lot of time together, certainly sitting side by side during lectures, taking part in workshops together and design activities, but also eating together, relaxing together, celebrating together. Take advantage of this. When we ask our alumni a year after they've graduated, what aspect of the ISU program was most beneficial to you? The answer we hear is the lectures were great, I learned a lot technically, I learned different aspects of space through that great ISU program. But when we ask that question 5 years later, 10 years later, when the alumni are a little further on in their space careers, invariably the answer that comes back is the value of the experience really was that network that we were able to build up and are now a part of. So look around you. Those are the future space leaders in the global space academic community, the senior managers in space agencies, the captains of space industry. Take advantage of this unique opportunity you have here this summer to get to know them. Make some extra effort, perhaps, to establish friendships with your classmates who come from different cultural or linguistic backgrounds. So, congratulations again on having been selected to be participants in this year's SSP program. Take advantage of the summer to learn about the different aspects of the space world, to dream the big dreams, and with your colleagues, to formulate plans on how to make them a reality. I know that you will be changing space and the world in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Since Your Majesty will have to leave, I would like to thank you again for being present with us at the opening ceremony of the 31st Space Studies program. Thank you. Please be seated. I'd now like to invite Mr. Nico van Putten to the podium. Mr. van Putten is the Deputy Director of the Netherlands Space Office, NSO, and is the local organizing committee director. It is NSO who took initiative 5 years ago to bring the SSP to the Netherlands. He is currently responsible for all Dutch activities in the European Space Agency Program Board and delegate to ESA Industrial Policy Committee and ESA Council. He is also responsible for technology development in the Netherlands, including commercial space and technology transfer, and ESA business incubation centers. Please welcome Mr. Nico van Putten.
Dear friends, first of all, I want to welcome you in this country of water and space, the Netherlands. It's a great honor to speak to you on this very special and memorable occasion. For me, it's really exciting to see today the first promising result of an initiative we took about 5 years ago with the first talks with ISU. Right from the beginning of the process, we had the full support of the Ministry of Education, Culture and Science and of the Ministry of Economic Affairs. In order to underline that, let me quote the State Secretary of Education, Culture and Science at that time in his foreword of the bid book we offered to the ISU. And I quote, "The Netherlands is good soil for people who want to develop themselves and who want to develop the opportunities of space to serve science, technology and society." And as a civil servant, I'm the last person to disagree on this with the State Secretary. So from my position, I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the representatives of these ministries for their support. And talking about support, as a member of the local organizing committee, I have to mention and thank the sponsors of the local organizing committee, with as main sponsor Airbus and a very good second one, the Ariane Group, and of course a lot of smaller sponsors who supported this and made it possible. Visitors of the Netherlands are often surprised about how much space there can be in such a small country. Many people say the Dutch, they created their own space. And it's true, large parts of our country we conquered from the sea. The ingenuity we need in our struggle against the water is the same that made us pushing back the boundaries of science and technology in space programs. The Netherlands has always been a country of exploration. We are aware that there is more behind the horizon. This made us sail the whole world, discovering new countries and people. This brought our technology in orbit and to the outskirts of the solar system. The recently launched TROPOMI Earth Observation Instrument on the European Sentinel-5 precursor mission, monitoring the air quality worldwide, and the solar arrays that will power Bepi Colombo near Mercury are just two examples of this. The coming weeks you will, of course, enrich your knowledge about space, but also get introduced in the Netherlands as a space country. You will meet some key key players of the Dutch space sector and hopefully learn how we approach space projects. And of course, I hope this will lead to a long-standing relationship which we can build upon in the future. We have a jewel in our midst, which is called ESTEC. This European Centre of Space Science and Technology turns the Netherlands into a melting pot of European space technology and very fruitful soil for new concepts and new businesses. A very important part of your program will take place here. So we are extremely proud and grateful of the participation of this beautiful and highly innovative European Space Centre. Together, of course, with the Technical University of Delft and the Leiden University as institutional knowledge partners to this SSP. And surrounded by a vivid space sector, I'm sure the Netherlands is able to offer you the perfect ecosystem to learn and get inspired. Talking about inspiration, space is everywhere and space is of vital importance for everyone. We all know, so I'm preaching to the convinced now. One of the reasons to get ISU SSP in the Netherlands is to inspire also the general public here in the Netherlands. And I can say we already succeeded. A couple of weeks ago, we started the so-called Sizzling Summer of Space, full of activities in this region for the general public. And I'm sure you will also be part of this Sizzling Summer in the coming weeks. Enough talking now from my side. I'm coming to an end. And the main message, and that's a very simple one, is you are starting maybe a life-changing couple of weeks now. And of course, I wish you all a lot of inspiration and good and useful lessons. But let's not forget that the most important part of the message is that you have to have simply fun with it. And to show you a little bit already now what the Netherlands can do, I would like to show you a very short film which is the branding of the NL Space in Europe. So hopefully the film will start now. Thank you.
Space is everywhere. Space is a global activity. Space connects every place on Earth 24/7. This is the Netherlands, home to NL Space. For centuries, the Dutch have been known for their commerce, technology, science, and clever engineering, a reputation they continue to build upon today. From the invention of the microscope to the discovery of the rings of Saturn, the drive for innovation and discovery is embedded in their DNA. No wonder the Netherlands has played an important role in the birth of the space era and is now a major player in the global space industry.
I think that it is through the unique combination of our groundbreaking, ultra-sensitive instruments and top-class astronomers that we, as the Dutch astronomical community, have been able to make so many scientific breakthroughs.
The majority of space missions performed by the European Space Agency lift off, orbit our planet, or reach the outskirts of the solar system, driven by Dutch technology.
The harsh space environment demands the utmost of our technology. This solar array, for example, needs to operate near Mercury at temperatures over 350 degrees Celsius, which is just completely insane. These kind of requirements, together with those of today's space business, really make it challenging to work on such projects, and also very exciting. Every time our technology is being launched, it's just incredible.
With more than 2,500 employees, ESTEC in Noordwijk is the largest establishment of the European Space Agency.
The European Space Agency Technical Center ESTEC brings to the Netherlands world-class space competence and high-tech. In turn, the Netherlands provides a focus on international cooperation and innovation. This makes the Netherlands a valuable partner in space, and in particular an excellent breeding ground for new companies and startups, as in the ESA Business Incubation Center.
Within the ESA BIC program, pioneering Dutch entrepreneurs are using advanced space technology and satellite data to create innovative new concepts. This entrepreneurial spirit leads to exciting new global businesses.
The world needs more and more information, and using miniaturization and series production, we can dramatically lower the cost of space infrastructure. Using small satellites like this, satellites the size of a milk carton, we can build constellations of satellites that monitor the Earth in a real-time basis. And using that, we can open up new markets to provide information services for all the people on the planet.
In a world dealing with climate change and an ever-growing population, accurate satellite data is of great importance. Worldwide, there is a vital need to monitor air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions in order to gain further insight in the human impact on our environment. The latest Dutch space instrument, called TROPOMI, does exactly this.
With the TROPOMI space instrument, we can provide a picture of the air we breathe for every day of the week, for every place around the world. It is very challenging and rewarding to work with this type of satellite instrumentation, which is based on Dutch state-of-the-art technology and scientific knowledge.
The Netherlands, with its wide range of high schools and internationally acclaimed universities, provide an excellent environment to educate the scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs of tomorrow.
From space, we have a unique perspective on our planet. Here, with our feet on the ground, we have to shape a perspective for the future and for the future of our children. That is why we invest in our strength, in space technology, in space science, and in space applications. This is also why we invest in the next generation of space engineers and scientists. We are looking forward to cooperate with you. Join us in facing the global challenges.
Thank you, Nico. I'd now like to introduce the president of the International Space University, Professor Walter Peters. Professor Peters was involved in astronaut activities since 1980 as head of the coordination office of the European Astronaut Center in Cologne. He joined ISU in 2000 as professor in space business and management, and he was nominated as a dean of ISU in 2005. He's been the president of ISU since 2011. Please welcome Professor Walter Peters.
Thank you very much, Omar. Dear guests, dear colleagues, I see a lot of colleagues here, and foremost, dear participants of SSP 2018. What I start to realize, if you're the last speaker and all people have the same mindset, it's very difficult to say something new. In fact, all I had prepared has already been said, virtually. I also, I'm sorry, I took the wrong shoes, so otherwise I would dance a little bit, but that's unfortunately also not possible, so you will have to listen to a speech. We have mentioned, and maybe for those from different countries, you may have heard here in Holland, 3 places, and they are very linked to each other. Because I don't know if most people know it, but STEC, where we are now, was originally in Delft. In 1962, STEC was started in Delft, which at a certain moment became a little bit too small for what you see now as premises. In cooperation with, at that moment, very strong University of Leiden, was very strong at that moment in astronomy, now very strong in space law as well, as was mentioned by the chairman. And then Noordwijk, and the mayor of Noordwijk got this brilliant idea when it was a little bit getting too small in Delft to say, why don't you come to Noordwijk? With a very nice feature, we're close to the sea, so we have no problem on one side of the sea of interference. So you see, Noordwijk, Delft, Leiden have a link. They also have a link for me personally, just to be a little bit more personal. I did my doctorate in Delft. My professor was the late Professor Jan in 't Veld, who lived in Leiden. So I spent quite some evenings in Leiden discussing with my promoter. And in fact, indeed, I started as a young ESA engineer here in Noordwijk. So I have also the same link of the three places. Now, I started not here. I started in a test center as a test engineer. But the place where we are here, there was no building yet, but I know this place very well, by the way. I have to tell you a story on that one. there were a number of entrepreneurial ESA, ESTEC engineers, and they made here a small golf court. Some of you may have remembered that. So this was a nice place for a golf court. Unfortunately, this was also a nice place for the rabbits. You know, this is very nice dune ground, so rabbits can make nice holes here. So the rabbits, when they saw all the golfers coming, they were starting to make orbital mechanics calculations. I don't know if they used STK or any other rabbit software. And anyway, with all the orbits, they saw what were the most probable impact zones. So they moved out and they made new holes everywhere where there were no golf balls supposed to fall. Now they had underestimated my slice. I had a terrible slice when I started to play golf, so my impact of my golf balls was where the rabbits thought they were safe. I think they must have signed a petition. Maybe they gave it to the previous director of ESTEC or to the mayor, I don't know. But in any way, after I played a few weeks golf, I was transferred to Toulouse. I don't know if there is any link between the two. Around that time, we're talking about 1987, by the way, also International Space University was created by 3 visionary founders. And if you meet somebody from the previous generation, like a number of here, like Michael Potter, Chris Salleberger, they will still talk about the summer session program, SSP. But later we started to realize that summer session program was politically not very correct, because the people from the southern hemisphere are sitting in the winter. So we had to do something about that, and that's why we kept the acronym and now call it Space Studies Program. So that's politically more correct, I think. The founders at that time always liked to be here. They didn't manage this time, but one of the founders, one of the famous founders, Peter Diamandis, asked me anyway to send a little thanks and a little welcome to you, participants of the SSP. So maybe if I can have that video, which was pre-recorded by Mr. Diamandis.
Hello, my name is Peter Diamandis. I have the honor and the pleasure of being one of the 3 co-founders of the International Space University. I'm so sorry not to be there in person with you. I'm actually in Toronto, which was the site of our 3rd ISU SSP program. I want to do a special thank you to all who have come from 30+ countries around the world. You're in for a most extraordinary summer of your life. If I were a space policymaker, entrepreneur, engineer, physician, there's no place I'd rather be. And Netherlands, of course, so amazing. For literally the past 2 decades, we've wanted to host a program there. My most sincere thanks for ESA ESTEC for hosting us, for His Royal Highness the King for hosting us, to the incredible group of universities and organizations that have made this possible. There is no better time ever to be in the space business. Today, in my last count, there are 12 companies that are creating small micro launchers to get your payloads into space, 2 companies creating behemoth launch vehicles from Blue Origin to SpaceX. We are truly right now moving irreversibly off the planet to the stars. Whatever we evolve into 1,000, 1,000,000 years from now, it'll be these next couple of decades as the moment in time where we moved off of the Earth, space, to Moon, to Mars, the asteroids. It is an extraordinary time. A special shout out to a few of my dear friends who are there. Walter Peters, our president, to Wanda Dalmau, our president-elect, who was a graduate of our 2nd SSP program in Strasbourg, now our home. Shout out to Chris, our chairman. Chris, an honor to be here in your hometown in Toronto. To our 2 astronauts, to Jeff and to Andre, thank you for being part of the ISU community. Again, I am so thankful that we finally have our SSP in the Netherlands. I want to also say a thank you to Professor Warner of ESA, Director General, for the tremendous support that ESA has given us over these last 2 decades. It's happening. The vision, the dream that we all had coming together back in 1987 at our founding conference in 1988 we're in the midst of the steep part of that curve as AI, synthetic biology, robotics, sensors, networks, AR, VR, all these technologies are converging. They're truly making it easier for the human race to move off the Earth to the stars. And you, my dear friends at ISU, are the tip of that spear. I wish you an amazing summer, and I look forward to the incredible projects, ideas, friendships that you create. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.
Allow me, on the basis of this little talk from one of the founders, to develop a few points. Every SSP has a number of particularities. Every SSP is different. And I think this SSP, as far as I'm concerned, has a number of them which will make it very, very special. The first element is that we had a very good preparation for this session. First of all, by the local organizing committee headed by Dr. Blau, Dr. Gerard Blau, but also by the team of Dr. Omar Hatamle and his people. They have prepared this session very well. And the most important factor, without discriminating, is the participants. You. I know most of your CVs. You are a tremendous, talented group of people. You're going to make this an enormous SSP. That's the first thing that certainly will stand out this year. As already mentioned by a number of people and also by Peter before, we are also for the first time linked to an ESA center and linked here in Netherlands to an ESA center. And I'd like to thank therefore Professor Werner and his team for facilitating this, this novelty of being close to an ESA center. Something which has been slightly alluded to by Peter Diamandis is, in my opinion, also a first here in this session. We have namely one team project which is there to help alumni. Indeed, a number of our alumni have formed a company called Spire, which is specializing in weather forecasting. And talking with them, we came to an idea that it would be very interesting to make a link between weather forecasting and energy. The better you can predict the weather, the better you can schedule energy. And also, the cheaper is the energy then. So, this is also, to my knowledge, a novelty, that this ISU SSP will help alumni. Note, by the way, that ISU, we saw also in the nice presentation that Nico has presented, that you have, of course, here an excellent business incubator center. Note that also ISU, in his building in Strasbourg, has now linked to the business incubator centers of ESA, to the ESA BIC, and has also a booster capacity. So I hope that a number of you here, with an entrepreneurial spirit, will knock on our door in the coming months and say, I have a brilliant idea, and I hope we can help you with startups. So we are in that area. As a last point, which has been very strongly emphasized by the chairman of the board, Chris Salleberger, what is very typical also for this SSP is the large number of nationalities. We have 36 nationalities. To our knowledge, we can be wrong, but to our knowledge, never an SSP had so many nationalities. And that is an enormous asset, because it has been mentioned, space is becoming a global commodity, and people of different nations are working more and more globally together. So having the luxury to be with 35 other nationalities, your own excluded, is something you should not underestimate. When I was young doing postdoctorate work, I worked together with a very brilliant Indian scientist on a very technical domain, operations research, where you would say, well, linear programming, non-linear programming is all the same. No. He came to the same results that I came, luckily. I never understood how he came to that result, and he never understood how I came to that result. And that brings me to a lesson that I learned there. Please learn from each other. There is one thing that taught to me, that is, if I may summarize it, different is not wrong. Always think about that. If somebody is giving some different message or in a different thing, do not say immediately that's wrong because my self-reference, as psychologists say, is this and this and this. So you will be confronted with some of the brightest people in the space sector who will give you lectures. That will be fantastic. That will be very amazing for you. But take also the other opportunity. You are also an asset. You are a fantastic group of people, and you have to learn from each other. This is an opportunity for the rest of your life, and an opportunity that I hope that you take with both of your hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter. Dance Complex are a local European champion dance group dancing to Dutch DJ Armin van Buren. The performance will be followed by a laser dance show with space music. Please welcome Dance Complex.
another you. I don't know any other way to show it's not getting any better. I think we both know that there's something sorry. Just looking for another you.
You said you'd be there for me in times of trouble when I need you when I'm down. And likewise, you need friendship. It's from us popular but isolated. Things have been changing. You have goals to achieve, but the road you take are broad and heartless. The ones you make another way. You throw stones. Can you see that I am human? I am breathing, but you don't give a damn. Another world is asleep. How will you ever wake her up when she gets deep in the dreams? Wishing, and yet so many die. You see, we think that it is all about us. It's all about you. You sold your soul to the evil and the lust and the passion and the money in you. Innocent ones die, or people hunger for decades, suffer while the civilized damn robbers or the slaveholders. You free my heart.
Wait a minute, fill my cup, put some liquor in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. Smoother than a fresh drop. I'm too hot. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on, they sailor on.
What an amazing performance that was. And finally, I would like to thank all our speakers today. Professor Jan Warner, Mr. Jaap Smit, Dr. Andre Kuipers, Dr. Chris Salberger, Mr. Nico van Putin, and Professor Walter Peters. Thank you all for your welcoming words. I would also like to thank all our guests for attending the 31st opening ceremony today. And on behalf of our host, I would like to invite you for a reception after this. So well, now the opening ceremony has concluded. I hereby declare open SSP18, the 31st Space Studies program hosted by the Netherlands Space Office in collaboration with the Dutch space organizations, Delft University of Technology, Leiden University, and ESA ESTEC. Thank you for joining us this evening.
you.